Good evening, Free Enterprise fans. My name is Smapey, and I am overjoyed to be here tonight, bringing you the Lunar Table action coming at you. We've got dustygriff, we've got Zyrek, two of the biggest names in Free Enterprise going head-to-head in this early round match of the Lunar Table. With me today is Poydrak. Poydrak, how you doing today?
Strangely happy to be on this side of the sort of playing of the game at the moment. The table is scary. We've got a whole lot of good runners. These are just two of them, and they're going to go head to head for our pleasure today.
Yeah, definitely. And that is a very interesting start that we have there with that Rosa there. Now, for those of you new to the Lunar Table brackets, we've got a very interesting character recruitment policy in place. Characters cannot be dismissed once recruited. So you have to be very, very careful about who you're taking and why, and making sure that you've got a character that's not going to help you just in the short term, but in the long term as well. And Rosa is one of those characters that you're very happy to see for the length of the game.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to take them straight away. The permajoin flag allows you to sort of not take them. So if you see a character you don't want, you don't have to pick them up. However, because we don't have the buy flag available, we're going to see a whole lot of people just dismissing characters straight up and going to pick them up later at the Tower of Wishes in Mysidia. So expect a good team, but not straight away.
Yeah, most certainly. So objectives today, remember we have to complete 3 of the 4 of them in order to get the crystal, complete the seed. We've got destroy the super cannon, liberate Baron Castle, and defend Fabul. What are your thoughts on the objectives we see here, Poydrak?
Destroy the super cannon has become very popular in terms of what I've seen on these races, both in the group and the table flags so far. It's been one of those ones which has popped up a whole lot more often. You do need the tower key, and with that, you don't really want to double tip that tower. Liberate Baron Castle, you need the Baron key. It's not really too hard unless you have the Baron key is a bit hard to find, maybe on the moon or behind a big long chain. Defend Fabul, well, just go there and fight the fight.
Yeah, so one of those objectives very much guaranteed from the get-go. It's going to be, it's going to turn into a key item hunt for the others, of course. And since I saw her in chat earlier, shout out to the Scala Kitty for the self-insert Rosa color scheme there. I'm always a fan of that Scala look.
Yeah, she does very good work. She's the brains and the hand behind all of our wonderful alternate palettes, as well as a lot of the other things going on a bit later. Well, some of the things going on later. But we are getting underway. Rosa and Sid. Sid's actually a really powerful character under these flag sets.
Yeah, not only is he very useful early on just because of his high level and the amount of attack power that he can bring, a large amount of hit points to be able to take care of some of these early fights, but he can be pivoted into a very useful agility anchor for the rest of the game, especially if you're able to find that cursed ring. Sid really does fit the bill very well there.
Yeah, he's really the jack of all trades of this flag set. You're not wanting to find you're wanting to find something that will accelerate you early. Sid does that. You're wanting something to sort of calm things down late. Sid does that. And I'm not really surprised that both of our runners today took him.
And we're going to have an immediate shot up to Damsey here for dustygriff, while Zyrek is content to stay here at home and just loot out Baron. Get a quick look at who is here in the waterfall.
Was that Nograx? If that was an Ograx and Cientella, Zyrek has all the information he needs to finish this seed in good timing. Because we say Sid's sort of a helpful person to be around for the game. Teller initiates a lot of what you want to happen, like grinds.
Yeah, Tella is sort of a master key to a lot of the locks that a seed might present with his expanded spell list after doing mount ordeals, especially here where we do not have access to sirens. You really have to be very conscious about how you're going to do your grinds, how you're going to get the levels you need to fight Zeromus at the end of the game. Tella opens up many, many doors for you.
Yeah. Young in Dampion. Young, I think, is a hidden sleepy character. You don't want to pick him up too early. You don't want him to be sort of there at the very start, but later on maybe as a slingshot target or as a potential agility anchor, because he is fairly slow at the early levels. I think he's got a whole lot more potential than people are really giving him credit for. And another teller in the Watery Pass. Yeah, Dusty is going to be really happy to see this. Zyrek, I know, is going to be happy to see this. This might not be as long a seed as we're expecting unless these key items are really buried.
Yeah, we've got the strongest white mage in the game already. We've got Tella that opens so many doors. We got somebody who can dish out damage at Sid with that Ogre Axe. One of the better, honestly, arguably the best option for Sid as far as weapons go. With axes normally are limited by their very low hit rate, but the Ogre Axe has an impressive 85 hit, I believe, which makes it a very, very good weapon. So yeah, you're just missing a little bit of extra damage to get you through, and you basically have what you need.
Zyrek stopped at the waterfall while Dusty is saying, I've got a teller, I've got exit, I'm going to go all the way in, and he's instantly rewarded.
Ooh, that is big. We were just talking about that cursed ring and how that can be used to transition Sid into an agility anchor endgame. That is a huge pickup for Dustygriff, being, like you said, rewarded. Knowing he's got that exit spell in Tella, he can dive a little bit deeper into this cave, and yeah, that is huge payoff.
Yeah, not going all the way in, but I think he's quite happy with that curse ring going. Do I really need to do the rest? I've got Sid that can help me get through the overworld here. Probably not, and instantly exits and goes shopping.
Yeah, meanwhile, Zyrak has decided to start doing the seed proper here, heading into Antlion Cave to loot it out a little bit and take care of the boss here for a key item check. One of the earlier checks that most runners do in these kinds of seeds, and probably get our first key item check here shortly from him. Can't imagine whatever boss here is going to present too much trouble.
No, not with an elven bow found. I'm not too sure if that was a samurai bow that was just picked up. Might not have been. But elven bow for Rosa, even the base wooden hammer or the ogre axe for Sid. Yeah, this boss is not long for this world. Yeah, it was a samurai bow. Likely going to stick with the elven bow to start off with. It does have a little bit better accuracy and is effective against mages. So if there's anything that it's good against, easier time going up against this Antlion boss.
It also can serve as sort of a pseudo staff for your casters, because it does have a little bit of those mental stats on there. Young and Dark Knight Cecil in the city. I can't imagine Dustygriff is in much of a hurry to grab either of them.
No, definitely not going to pick these two up. Already seen a Young and sort of said no. Cecil is a very big enigma in this particular flag set. Agility and the agility vanilla agility flag is on, so that means if you pick him, Cecil will be the basis of all your agility, and he is fast. Well, not fast, but annoyingly fast in a lot of occasions. And it's difficult to just wrap everything around him. So if you can avoid it and not take him, you'll have an easier way of sort of building up your party around your agility.
Yeah, certainly when you're in Dustygriff's position where you already have a character like Sid, you've already found that curse ring, that's kind of got everything set up where you want it to be. So yeah, even if you find one of those great pieces of hardware that makes Cecil really shine as a paladin, it's still, you know, better to deal with the problem. You know that you had the good setup you know you have, rather than gamble on a potential power upgrade and still having to deal with that agility problem later.
Yeah. The only real caveat to taking a Cecil, which is in a lot of people's minds, is that elusive and very sort of overpowered crystal sword. You don't really care what happens after that.
Precisely. Now, we did see that there was a Dragoon Lance in the Antlion Cave, so no key item, but that is a very interesting piece of kit to get. If, you know, once you've got that in hand, you're definitely going to be looking for Kain, one of his best weapons, and then that is going to give you a very, very strong melee fighter. That could be one of the last pieces of the puzzle you really need to put this team together. Good use of that Blizzard item there to take out the Dark Imps much more quickly than Zyrak did. dustygriff making up some time there.
It's not a whole lot, but every second is going to be counting here. And going back to the Kain situation, Kain is a very nice sort of complement to that Cid. Kain doesn't get a whole lot of strength early game, and he isn't the strongest late game. But between the two of them, don't worry about anything that's going on throughout the entirety of it.
Yeah, Kain is a nice alternative to Cecil. You're not going to get the hugest extremes of what you're capable of without with Cecil and a crystal sword, but he doesn't come with any of that agility baggage either. So he's a nice compromise, I would say.
Second rows are up on Hobbs. Zyrak is taking the fight, while dustygriff has decided doesn't really want to deal with it, doesn't really want that second Rosa right at this moment, and is on the way to Fabul, which is our number 4 objective today.
Yeah, interesting that Zyrak would take this fight. I believe he might just be interested in grabbing these chests here, since he knows he's got the consumables to take care of it real quick.
He's heading off to the west side of Hobbs, so yeah, just wants a little bit of extra money. Nothing really too massive in terms of funds that have been acquired so far.
Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. The ice armor and the piece of samurai kit there will definitely sell well. That'll help fund some of these early game shopping sprees as they prepare to go into the mid stages of the game. So decent pickups there for Zyrak.
And Dusty's just about to give us our first look at the boss of Fabul. Anything important here?
Not particularly.
Annoying, but you're not. Cid's just going to get you through this, pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, well, we do have that Stardust in dustygriff's inventory. Wouldn't surprise me if he whips that out once the bomb splits into the kid bombs, and that'll deal with it very nicely. Now, of course, Bomb adds significant chunk of HP, regardless of what spot it is in, as it gets ready to explode. Depending on where you run into it with the power level of your team, you might be able to burst through that. Obviously, not going to be able to do it here, so they will have to eat the explosion, deal with the kids, but they have the consumables to handle it, no problem.
So I did use the Stardust on Mount Hobbs against the Calbrenna dolls, so it might be lacking a little bit for that, but I don't think the bombs are really going to be that dangerous just to mop up afterwards, just a little bit slower.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to pose a threat. It's just going to be the speed with which they can get through the fight is going to be all it really comes down to.
As you predicted, Justy just uses a Stardust item, finishes up the little bombs, and goes on to get the item and the objective. And that's an item.
That is a Magma Key, and every little step our runners take is making the seed look quicker and quicker. That's going to be the easy route, as it were, underground. No need to deal with that hook route. And since we've got these pro treasure and pro shop flags on, this now gives dustygriff and soon here Zyrak access to the much, much stronger equipment that's going to be available in the underground.
Which makes it a little bit surprising why Dusty's sort of looting the throne room of Fabul, but I guess he just wants a couple of quick items here for the remaining in shop checks on the surface.
Yeah, probably wants to have as much cash in hand before he goes underground, because he's going to start seeing some really, really good items there, and wants to, make sure he can fund any shopping sprees he might want to go on. Zyrak finishes up the fight. Then you can kind of see the difference between how much time that Stardust really made, as dustygriff is already turning in the Magma Key, while Zyrak is just now getting it.
Is leading them a little bit away from ordeals. You do want to do ordeals with a teller in your party, because that is the only way he's going to be able to learn the entirety of his spell kit. His base spells are fairly good with both Blink and Exit, but if you're going to be doing any grind, you really want that weak spell. You really want a few of the other things that he's got under his belt, or potentially if you do ordeals.
Yeah, completely agree. I can't imagine this is going to be much of a long excursion underground, mostly just checking out some treasures, maybe looking in some shops, seeing what is going to be actually available this seed, before popping back up above ground and finishing off these overworld checks and getting Tella up to speed.
Yeah, without a pan, though, we could be looking at the wonderful triple dip of Fabul. I say wonderful in very, very big quotation marks.
And it looks like dustygriff might be trying to do a little bit of save scum strats here in the Fame March. Finds a strength ring already, which is not a bad piece of kit. Especially if that Kane shows up, he's going to definitely like that.
Yes. Got through 2 floors. I don't think he's going to open up any more chests here. I think he's just going to let everything else go and go straight into the town. Or I could just be proven wrong and he finds the monsters anyway.
Yeah, resetting out of that, at least now he knows where the monsters are, so he can go loot whatever he actually wants here, and doesn't have to worry about running into that.
Didn't really find anything too special apart from that strength ring, so he might just skip out on a couple of these. But again, money is a big object here.
Oh, absolutely. Zyrak did show us what was for sale in the Agate shop. Silk webs there. Always a sigh of relief to find those. I've been through many a seed where there was no silk webs to be had, and Zeromus becomes a lot tougher when you can't get 2 layers of slow on him right from the get-go.
Yeah, and since you don't have access to hourglasses in the most cases for these particular seeds, silk webs can be a sort of pseudo savior in terms of agility manipulation, or just keeping your people alive. Speaking of a little bit of a grind, though, Dusty just found a siren in Famosh.
Yeah, those are not going to be available in shops or from stealing in this flag set. But a single siren used in the right place could get a nice infusion of XP. So that could be a very valuable find he has there. And speaking of valuable finds, there's the pass. So we do have access to Zeromus. Just a matter of getting the rest of the objectives done now.
Yeah, I can't see either of our runners sort of using that siren with this particular team at this moment in time. Sid comes at level 20. You don't really need a whole lot more levels on him to get what you want done. Teller doesn't really gain a whole lot through levels. Rosa is the only one, and Sid's really going to get her levels rather than what a siren would do at this moment in time, I feel.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. Doing a little bit of equipment stuff here, getting Sid back row glitched, getting a save in. Are we going to see a check on the bosses here, just for knowledge's sake?
Yeah, it has become a sort of popular sort of check. Just peek your head in and you can see the boss for the most part before it actually gets started in Dwarf Castle, and well, not happening this time, but it's become more of a popular check. As for Feymarsh, was that Elements and someone else?
Was in Elements, and it looked like Baigen on the right slot.
Elements isn't too bad. It's dangerous, but it's not too bad. Baigen, on the other hand, in the other spots, no, thank you.
Yeah, Baigen is a boss that just gets nastier and nastier the higher level spot it appears in. You've got 3 targets that can hit very hard. The middle target auto walls itself, so that magic is essentially nullified outside of reflect ignoring spells like Quake. So yeah, it's just a nasty fight all around, and putting it in a real bad spot like that Asura spot. Our runners are definitely going to be hoping that is not going to be required by again.
Yeah, and we haven't seen any of those mass clear spells like Quake, or Iridia with a decent summon. So those arms are going to stay alive a lot longer than you really want them to.
We did get a validation at the Job Dwarf from Zyrak, and the Job Dwarf today is an office clerk.
Yeah.
You know,
I suppose.
Regular old white collar 9 to 5 dwarf.
I guess it's even some dwarves need to just take it a bit easy and just do what's on the table.
Someone's got to count the ale stores. That's a package from Sheila 1. Not terribly enticing here.
Considering our character options so far, we've got 2 Youngs, a potential Teller, and a Cecil, and another Rosa. That package might be checked just to see if there's anyone a little bit more useful on the table.
If you're in a position like this and you just got the package, what character would make you want to sit through the cutscene?
Kane.
Kane
at this moment in time, right?
Yeah.
Because we've got that Dragoon Spear. You'll be able to leverage him a lot later. Palom would be another option, and that would be a possibility. That Iridia, did Dusty just take the Iridia?
No, I believe he dismissed the Iridia.
Okay, I don't see Iridia being picked up this stage. Maybe later for a slingshot, but Palom or Kane would definitely be the 2 you'd want to see at this moment in time in the character check.
Yeah, Iridia in a lot of flag sets is a character I really don't mind having early, especially if you can get your hands on that Sylph spell. There are so many situations that can really bail you out of. But when you have to commit to a character being permanently in your team like you do here, Iridia's value goes down a lot as an early game option. Her experience curve is notoriously terrible in the end game. It takes so much experience to get her to the end game stage where she can cast Nuke compared to somebody like Palom. So she's really not fantastic in the end game unless you can set up some sort of power leveling situation on her to slingshot her. And even then, she's going to be deficient in things like hit points compared to other characters that make her a little bit more of a liability.
Yeah, but slingshot usually gets around that because you're only usually doing things after that. The only things you're usually doing are some high-level checks where Nuke is just king, or Zromus.
That's very true. And Oscar with the raid. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to our 4th table race so far. Dustygriff versus Zyrak. So far, we found Magma Key in Fabul, as well as completing the number 4 objective with that. Other than that, it hasn't really been too forthcoming, this particular seed so far.
And this is a surprisingly nasty fight here, just because you only have the 3 characters. That Glare every cycle is guaranteed to take 1 character out, but Dustygriff able to get just enough damage in there to get through the fight, power through, and we'll be able to move on to the next boss fight here. But yeah, that is a pretty nasty Rubicon.
Yeah. That spot has a surprisingly high magic stat. Its attack power is in the dirt, but
goodness gracious!
its magic spot is high. As for this, I'm surprised that the Star Veil didn't go off first. That spot with Wyvern isn't as bad as you might think. Because it's a scripted back attack, you have... we don't want Wyvern going, boom, you're dead straight away. Okay, so it has been programmed in that there is a bit of a wait time for Wyvern to start with her initial move. So there is the opportunity for you to save yourself. Problem is, these characters aren't exactly fast, and Wyvern got through that wait period and then... But a little bit of a reduction in battle speed, all done.
Yeah, good heads-up play there by dustygriff, understanding the way agility works in this game, and just reducing his battle speed in order to get through that fight. We're moving into the Kluya Shrine, which is usually not much of a problem. And we'll get a new key item location check here momentarily.
So what is our next thing after this, would you think? The obvious choice after this would just be go to Baron Inn and sort that out. But will anything here change their mind?
I think Baron Inn's almost certainly going to be the next thing. A Baron Key would keep me in the overworld a bit. I'd certainly be chasing that now. Oh, wow! When I call him, I call him.
We would like you to pick our lottery numbers for the next day
7,
and a half.
13, 94, and 37.
There you go, chat. If anyone wins from that, please let us know.
Oh, whoops. I'm sorry. That's the Cactpot numbers. My bad. You're only going to get gold saucer points for that. Anyway, through Kainazo, that fight's done. And now it's almost certain dustygriff is going to go right to Baron and clear all of that out.
Yeah, Baron Inn, Baron Castle. We'll get the key item check from the inn, and do the objective and the key item check from the castle itself. Maybe might peek the boss on the Odin throne, but probably won't look to actually beat it unless it's a really free boss.
Right you are. And I'm trying to think who was at the Bygin spot at the beginning of the scene. Do you happen to remember, Boydrak?
I think it was Bahamut, but I am notoriously bad at keeping track of that particular spot.
Yeah, same here. Getting Pancras, our tracker for today, saying that it was Dr. Lugai, so not a terribly difficult boss there whatsoever, especially with Sid.
Yeah, with Sid, with an Ogre Max will take out Balna pretty easily. No hammer really to take out the machine form of Dr. Lugai, but it's not a high hit point spot. It's not going to take too long.
Yeah, one of the other exciting things about this check is it is another character check, and like we said, we've been looking for that Kane. Would be a great offensive addition to this party. A black mage like Palom also would be great. Just really looking to increase the amount of damage this team is putting out, and then it's going to be looking really, really nice.
Yeah, we are getting to a point where damage is going to be an issue for both of our runners unless they pick someone else up. Sid is starting to get to the sort of edge of his usefulness in terms of damage output. Rosa, although good early game, aim for a little bit, she still needs a lot of strength here to really make her do any damage output. And Teller doesn't really bring it to the table.
Yeah, there are only very specific circumstances where Tella is going to be a useful damage dealer, and that's really when you're looking at those significantly elementally weak bosses. He can charge up one of those tier 3 elemental spells and do a good chunk of damage, but outside of that, yeah, he is not going to bring offense. He's just all about utility.
Maker Sisters, fairly simple to get through. Is this what we think it is? It is.
It is.
Good news for our runners when they go through this. You get experience. Bad news, the alternate gauntlet.
Now you gotta hope that this fight is worthwhile, because you ain't gonna be here for a while. The character here, not worthwhile. If you're gonna have to sit through the entirety of the alt gauntlet, you're gonna want a good key item to be there at the end to make it worthwhile. You're getting to see one of the few places where Tella can be useful offensively here, since he can multi-target that virus spell. It should one-shot all of these enemy formations and make this substantially faster than it would be without him. So yeah, one of the rare instances of an offensive caster Tella.
These bigger packs would be a little bit more dangerous for that, because Tella's magic stat is not really that high, and virus does get split 5 ways if it's against this particular pack, so it wouldn't do as much as you might think. And those alligators do have a fair amount of hit points.
Yep, you're right.
Or was it the crocodiles or something like that? But yeah, it's not great, Nate, but it still gets you most of the way.
Yeah, Tella finding more and more ways to disappoint me. But yeah, I can't imagine Zyrak is going to be taking a drastically different route here. So we'll most likely be running into this as well. So far, this seed has been relatively straightforward as far as the routing it wants our runners to take.
Yeah, the only difference really that they've had is that Zyrak's not done Sheila 1, while Dusty has. Zyrak has taken a few additional bosses and been a little bit slow on a couple because of item usage on Dusty's side has just been absolutely on point. Right, but they're going to be sort of entering and sorting out Baron Castle roughly at the same time.
And while we're our runners are kind of going through a little bit of a lull here, I did want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to our behind the scenes team here tonight. Ground Flyer is doing the restream, and we've got Pankraz doing the tracking. Thanks to both of you, and thanks to all of our volunteers for getting so many of these races rebroadcast to this tournament. It's been fantastic seeing all of this action.
Yeah, without the work of all of our volunteers, we just can't do this. So very much thank you to everyone. Dusty's coming up on the last fight, I believe this one is. So should be finding out soon.
Yeah.
Well, Zyrak is entering into the Magus Sisters fight and finding out that I can do this fairly easy.
And now here is the moment of truth. Was it all worth it?
Possibly.
Oh, very possibly. That is 2 character checks, a key item check, and most exciting to chat, that's a chance to look at the Troya Treasury.
And considering the amount of gear that we haven't really found, that might be enticing, especially in terms of money right now.
Yeah, right you are. I might even be tempted to go check Zot before going into Baron, just because I know that that's going to kick me back to Baron at the end, and I'm very, very greedy, and I want to get my hands on all of that loot right away. But dustygriff, going right into Baron Castle, not even thinking about it.
Yeah, Baron Castle is the obvious play here. It's right next door to where you are. Just go for it. One little thing about that treasury is we are on the T-Pro flag rather than T-Wildish, so it isn't as lucrative, but we can still find really high top tier gear there. So it's really, is Dusty going to go for it? And same with Zyrak afterwards. this team that they've got at the moment doesn't really need anything, but you don't know who you're going to be picking up yet. So you might just go in it just to see what you get and does it leverage your choice later.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Sid has basically got everything he's ever going to need. That Ogre Axe has been helping him so much here in these overworld fights, but he's going to be kind of retiring into his agility anchor role here going forward. So he doesn't really need anything gear-wise. Rosa is perfectly content to just get her spells. It's always great if you can get some gear for her to empower those spells, but really, all you want on her is levels to make her useful. And Tella, well, we've already done ordeals. Tella's about as good as he's ever going to get.
Dusty did keep that Earth Hammer, so we could have a one-shot on Lugay Z, or the machine version of Dr. Lugay. Not quite.
Very close.
Still, definitely about double what he would get out of a Ogre Axe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not too bad at all.
Yeah, one of those sort of hidden benefits of the hammers is that it does increased damage to mechanical types. So always something to keep in mind. If you've got a spare hammer lying around, Sid can use it to pretty good effect in fights like this.
A silver hammer was found at some point, but you're not going to be up against too many machine monsters. So the wooden hammer here, just keeping it on hand is perfectly fine. Dr. Lugay in this spot isn't hard, so we might see that wooden hammer now be dropped a little bit down the line because it's not really required now. The King of Baron today is
the wrong fiend.
Yeah, a fiend in a trench coat surrounded by his personal guards.
We'll take it. Do you see that big bomb? And yeah, it's going to throw that. That should take care of the gas. It's no problem. Then you just got to deal with Mylon. The only thing Mylon's going to do is punch and use a light one repeatedly. Which shouldn't hit for too much here. It shouldn't be a very difficult fight. Just getting through it all.
Magic defense is a little bit higher here, and it's a little bit higher on magic, but lit 1 is lit 1. You're not going to be scared of it.
Rosa did get enough XP to get Berserk, the Berserk spell, and that is going to be put to great effect on Sid, effectively doubling his damage output and making him go a little bit faster since the AI is handling control of him.
Zyrak has finally said, I'm through, and picking up his Earth Crystal.
Yeah, now we'll see if Zyrak is going to deviate from dustygriff's path, or if he's just going to blaze ahead on the obvious path right into Baron Castle here.
I don't see him changing in the route at this moment in time. The big question is, after this, after Baron Castle, do they go to Zot or do they head underground? Because you can really justify both with the team that they've got.
Oh, there's Kane. That is a huge pickup.
Instant pickup, no matter what.
Yeah, that would. I would initially be leaning towards the Zot play, but after getting Kane and knowing I've got that pretty great gear for him already, that might incentivize me to go try to make a play in the underground, try to take out Dwarf Castle and see what's available there. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what dustygriff decides to do here.
Yeah, Zyrak had a quick peek in the weapon and armor shops in Baron, found an Earth Hammer. Ogre Axe is good, and you can use a shield with it, but an Earth Hammer does give a few extra additional options. It's got its fire elemental damage. It's got a weak quake, which you can use when you use it as an item, and it's just a little bit more powerful than a normal other hammer.
There's objective number 2 down for dustygriff, and he finds the legend sword, which is half of a third objective there. We are just an adamant away from go mode here.
Or a tower key. One key item, no matter what.
Yeah, that's very true. Any of these key item spots are now going to put Zyrak is going to be hot on dustygriff's trail. We'll get that objective himself. And then it's just going to be, one single key item check or key item necessary to finish this seed up.
He is peeking that at Baron Basement Throne. Not really surprised if it's free experience and stuff. Yang is not bad there, but you're not really wanting to fight that.
Yeah,
not with this thing.
Potentially be doable, but it would just not be worth it at this point. That would be such a slog of a fight. dustygriff is heading up to Zot, though. I like it.
Is he going to do the check that everyone wants, or is he just going to straight up and doing the character checks? I think that's what he's here for more than really the key item check here. The characters. We haven't found a really viable fifth outside of that Rydia, but there's no way to slingshot her yet.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, granted, a fifth isn't strictly necessary. As long as you've got a way to do damage and a way to heal damage, you're good. But anything you can put on top of that will make it better. And you'll certainly want to get some kind of strong potential magic damage to deal with certain fights that physical isn't the best against.
Well, you know what time it is for.
I'm gonna say, I think I'd go right down the middle and say 5 out of 10, Poydrak.
Yeah, Ribbon's nice, Life Staff is nice. The ninja items aren't, they really be helpful. The Strength Ring is nice, but nothing that you're going to leverage a whole lot from.
Yeah, I think if there's an edge in this Tower of Zot, that treasury starts to look a lot better. Because the ninja sword is fantastic, and the ninja armor, while not great, does have high magic defense and can be really useful if you don't find anything better for edge going into Zeromus. And if you're going a little bit lower level, you want a better chance to survive big bangs. That's an option. But yeah, Rosa comes out of that treasury looking really great, getting her best piece of healing gear in the game, in the form of that life staff, and the ribbon also really, really good for her as well.
Yeah. Technically, we haven't found Golbez yet, so that ribbon could come into play when we do find him, if we find him. And there's also the outlying case for a really fast and rude evil wall, and you just want to wait out those crushes. That's a really edge case scenario, though.
Nitsky brings up a good point. Do we have to adjust our ratings since we're on T Pro, or are all ratings for Rate That Treasury just unified? Like we don't pay attention to the flag set. It's just the gear is the gear.
Technically, we should. However, we sort of have to remember that we do have characters that require this gear. And the gear that was in there just didn't fit what we have available to us at this moment in time. If anything, it's maybe just a point more, but that's about it, in my opinion. So it's picking up their cane, so yep, we still have parity in our teams at the moment, and our key item checks.
And D Lunars is actually a good fight to find here when you've got this setup. You can tell it can do some work with those Fire 3s, since they've got that fire weakness, and Kane's got that Dragoon Lance. so he can jump on them. Isn't the fight command, so it's not going to trigger their alternate script. So while can be a scary fight, this is actually a team that's very well equipped to take this on.
Yeah, the fire counters won't be too much. We found a whole host of Dragoon gear, which Sid and Kane both have on. Rosa is fairly well stacked at the moment, so it's not too bad for her. Teller, you don't really care about at this moment in time. If he survives, brilliant. If not, yeah.
And the blink spell picked up for Rosa there, so that means she has got two of the big white magic spells that Tella would give access to: Berserk and Blink. 2 Blink casters, 2 Berserk casters. You've got 2 melee fighters. That's really, really good as far as a team setup going forward.
Yeah, you can leverage really for Threemus fight both of hybrid strategies by picking up a Black Mage or picking up another Berserker, and well, there's someone who would love to be Berserked.
Yeah, I'm officially bumping that treasury up to a 6 or a 7.
I'd go 7 if Dusty picks up the Edge. There's been a bit of a debate about him among some of the players that are on the Tower flags. Okay, is Edge good? The answer is yes, but is he good enough for you to take, considering the gear that he requires? So, and that's the big issue. Is he good enough to take with the gear that you can find? Most people say no. Some people say yes.
Yeah, I think it's now that you've already done that looting and you've found the ninja sword, you found you've got a second strength ring he can throw on. I feel like that's good enough to take Edge. Edge is a really fantastic character early in the game, but if you can't find any of those katanas, oh goodness, that's the note doodle. If you can't find any of those katanas for him and you're just swinging short swords for the entire game, then yeah, he's going to fall off in usefulness very, very quickly.
Yeah. Since we've found at least a ninja sword and a long blade likely will be available in the shop in the underworld, yeah, it's a good pickup for Edge in this particular seed, and that technically officially bumps Sid down to agility anchor.
Yeah, Sid is he's an old man. He's been doing this for a while. It's about time for him to retire. Don't blame him at all. Let him just put a curse ring on, sit there, and cheerlead the rest of the team on. Throw some items down. He still has that massive HP pool, so he's still going to be really, really good as an item user, especially since he goes behind after everybody else. He's going to be in a good position to get somebody back up on their feet or top off some HP with a Cure 2 or a Cure 3 thrown around. So he still has his uses, but not in the frontline damage department.
Yeah, Ogopogo here isn't really too dangerous. The double wave is always a pain because it's 50% of your health. But this spot only has around 5,000 hit points, and it's a berserked Edge with what he's got, and even Sid at this point is enough to get through this fight. It's the magic side you really need to worry about, and since Ogopogo doesn't do magic, yeah, you don't worry. Zyrak is hot on dustygriff's heels, heading up to Tower of Zot. Not really a surprise, going to find that Edge. Likely will pick him up as well. As for the key item, just a pack of Artemis arrows.
Yeah, that is definitely not progression, but I would say picking up the Edge there was worth the time investment, especially since you don't have a particularly overwhelming team going into the underground, that edge is going to give a lot more confidence. So yeah, I would say it was certainly a trip well spent.
Yeah, and the other options you've had haven't really been superior. As we said, there's a second Rosa, there's 2 Yongs, there's another Teller, there's a Rydia. No one picked the package, but still, nothing you really feel confident is. And, well, Zyrex just found a long blade, so he's good to go. He'll be especially happy once he gets up to the top of here and sees an edge.
Yeah, Zyrak actually has taken the time to loot this out, which we did not get to see the contents of these chests from dustygriff. Longblade, not a tremendous upgrade, but definitely welcome to complement that ninja sword. And we'll get to see what's in the Flame Dog chest. These trap chests can be pretty lucrative.
Yeah, if he picks out say, a defense sword, an Avenger, a Mazamune, all 3 of those would be definitely the thing you want, that we as a viewer know that the runners would want to see.
Yeah, even something accessory-wise, like a Zeus Gauntlet, would be really fun to pick up at this point.
The fun thing and I'm going to say the curse word, would be a crystal sword. Would you pick up that that Cecil? It's not, so it's just a Boreas.
I mean, I would, but I'm also bad at this game, and I love Paladins, so don't listen to my advice there. Evil Wall here, this is a particularly healthy spot when it comes to HP, since it's the combined total of all of the Calcabrina dolls. We do have some good damage output here, but this might be a little bit of a tricky fight.
Yeah, 8,000 hit points on this spot, give or take a couple of either way. This spot, though, is really punchy, though. Sid and Kane are very well defended in terms of heavy gear, so they shouldn't be taking too much. So nothing should be a problem here, and Edge doing 1,300 damage per swing is fine. Heck, even Kane's getting in on the action now. His levels are starting to pick up where he can do some respectable damage.
Yeah, and I believe that dustygriff actually put that ninja suit on Edge and moved the black belt over to Kane for some extra damage. He's using Edge in that center spot because of Edge's high agility plus I think it's a 15 bonus that the ninja suit gives. So early on in these earlier to mid-game fights, having a very, very fast character in that middle spot is incredibly beneficial to getting so many turns coming along. So Sid is not going to be anchoring just yet. We're going to be using Edge for those fast turns in the meantime.
And the good upside of this is he's got a very good partner in Kane. Kane is, I believe, the second fastest of the frontline runners, frontline fighters. So he's going to be able to keep up with Edge very easily, and in dishing out these bits of damage. And well, there goes the Dragoon Spear to finish off that fight.
And I believe I was overselling the ninja shirt a bit. It's actually +3, not +15. I was just half an order of magnitude off. My mistake.
Yeah, it's not a great deal, but that you can see the benefits of moving that black belt over to Kane, and just straight up. Edge doesn't need the strength too much at this moment in time. Kane does.
We did have Vanilla Rydia, not interested in that. Gonna send them off to the Town of Witches.
Well, he can't exactly pick her up now.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got a full party.
Yeah, so every character is going to the Tower of Wishes now. They're going to be there, and if you talk to them while they're going to say, I can't leave! And you will feel bad for the rest of your life.
That's a twin harp, and we might be seeing an immediate harp check here from dustygriff.
Not really surprised, as the Flame Marsh bosses are still really, really painful to deal with, even for this team. Twin Harp is easily the most safe option.
Right, and that keyless tower isn't a terribly attractive play when you know you've got use the tower key for the super cannon as one of your objectives. That's a lot of banking on one of the two key items up there is worthwhile to avoid having to double go with that.
Yeah, this is the last check before that, unless people want to go searching for demist. It's in Mist Cave, which I don't believe has been checked, or at the top of that tower. So yeah, tower will likely be the next thing on the menu before Feymarsh.
Yeah. I know we've seen the waterfall, but I believe you're right. We have not seen this cave yet.
We haven't seen the package boss either, so that could be a wonderful little diversion if people want to try that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's going to be high on anyone's priority list, but yeah, that option is also there.
The fun part about this is if they do find the tower key, say in this check or the on the top of tower, but that darkness crystal was behind, say, that Beigen. Where's their grind going to come from?
Yeah, that's a very good question because that doesn't really leave. They might have to still keep going, keep hunting for, say, darkness crystal or something that will actually open up a grind spot. Because you're absolutely right.
They'll be in complete go mode because they'll have their free objectives. They'll have that crystal. They've got the pass. They can go. It's how comfortable do they feel with some of the alternative strategies that have been developed? The one that I'm thinking of at this moment in time is the one pioneered by Zilch, the 1200 hit point strategy.
Drake. It's music.
And now that I've been unmuted by Groundflyer, dustygriff is through.
Lovely rendition of Star Traffic's theme there. Just the hook. Not immediately useful unless that demist is hiding down that hook route.
Yeah. It would be a bold play to just go down there and check, but I don't think that's going to be high on their plans. The other thing we did forget is about that karate at the lower Baron throne, and Zarek is going through it and giving it that shot. This could be the darkness crystal, could be go mode.
I really like this play by Zyrak. We talked about how it's a fight that's technically doable, but would be a bit of a slog. He's come back with getting a better team, and is going for it. And the damage he's got going out, I think he really has a solid shot at this. And if this is a big item, this could be the crack in this seed that Zyrak needs to just really open this up.
Or at least bring it back to parity, because Dusty is going down there as well now.
You can see the fantastic use of that blink spell we were talking about earlier. He's got two characters that can put that on. That's going to nullify every other one of Yong's attacks. He alternates between physical attacks and kicks that hit the whole party. Now the kicks do go through that blink status, so they will hit people that are blunk. But he's gonna those punches that he had. Well, they're sword swings actually. Are gonna hit really hard, and the blink is gonna make sure that those are not a problem.
Yeah, I believe he's about 15,000 through this fight now. This spot has about 21,000 hit points, I believe, or something like that. So he should be through this very soon. Edge hasn't really had too many attacks thrown at him, so that blink has lasted quite a while.
Yeah, true ninja skills there, actually hiding away from all of the attacks. And Yang has got to be on the ropes at this point. He's got about, 12,000 HP at this point, I believe?
21,000 around about, 21,000.
Sorry, I got the numbers mixed around. There he goes.
So, is this go? Or is this a spoon?
Well, it's a good item. It's a good item when you've got Edge. That can be useful, especially, if it ends up we have to go to those Fame March bosses. That can be a really good way to just throw some damage out on them very early. But yeah, probably not what Zyrak was hoping for there.
Yeah, I think that's a worst case scenario for Zyrak, because I believe he's likely going to go to Dwarf Castle next and follow that Twin Hop to the Cave Magnus, while Dusty has already done that and should be getting through this fight fairly simply, and can move on to other things, which is likely going to be the top of that tower.
People in chat taking exception to my use of the word blunk. Look, I'm an English major. I'm allowed to take artistic liberties like that. Oh, was that dwarf? Where did we find that dwarf axe at? I must have missed that.
He just bought it.
Oh,
he
just
literally went into Tomra just to buy a dwarf axe and use it to back row Kane. That's it.
That's excellent, though. One of the problems with Kane is he's very stubborn when it comes to range attacks. It's very difficult to get that back row glitch set on him. The only way to do it outside of some crazy trickery is to use that dwarf axe. So yeah, that's really good for Zyrak. He'll be able to hit the back row, no problem with Kane, and he can hide him away in the back where he'll take less damage if he so chooses.
The funny thing is, we've been speaking about them having not really a whole lot of excess funds, and then he just uses some some excess capital just to do that straight up.
Definitely a good use of money, though. It's especially if we've got to go into things like that Baigen fight, where that the Rose can be a real hassle there for Kane. Now he can do regular attacks without having to rely on jump to hit full damage in the back row. And here's Keyless Tower from dustygriff.
Yeah, that Baigen is still really scary for this team. There's still no way to really quickly take out those arms, and no real big punch against a 25,000 hit point spot, with a fair amount of with a little bit of defense available as well. And yeah, I'm really scared for that fight if they have to go and do it. Elements, on the other hand, is going to be, I think, a fairly simple affair with this team. Since we didn't go down through the hook route, we don't know who this boss is at the top, but Dusty is just about to answer our questions, and it is still unknown.
We do know that Odin is down there in the hook route, so no Demas down there unless it's hiding at the King Queen Evelyn spot.
Yeah. As Lord Goober says, it is either Plague or Peldin. We've seen every other one of the moon bosses, So, no matter what this is, I don't think it's going to be a problem. And, well, Plague is just actually probably the easiest boss at this moment in time for this team. You're going to be berserking people up. You're likely not going to see that counter end. Or you could just let Sid do what he does best and blow up.
He's very good at exploding.
Yeah, came with that Dragoon Spear. Plague does take quadruple damage from spears, so he's doing amazing in this fight, hitting for nigh on 2,000 each swing. Teller, bit more behind that spell, please. Zyrek's going to be picking up his Twin Harp. We'll see what he chooses to do from that. I can't see him going in anywhere but to Cave Magnus. To be perfectly honest, he may pull a swing on us and go to top of tower.
And that's a Luca key from the top of the tower. If I'm dustygriff, that's where I'm headed next, most likely.
Yeah. If it's not a key item, pretty easy just to leave the cave after checking the boss for Threemus, since we are still looking for her.
Now, a question for you, Poydrak. If you're in dustygriff's spot here, you just get the Luca key, and it's likely going to be your next spot. Do you turn encounters on here and grinds now?
It's a very good question, that. Personally, I don't think I would, but probably I wouldn't, because I wouldn't think about it. You do have that cursed ring, though, and a very good anchoring situation with Sid, and Teller can cast that wall fairly quickly with that to get those death spells reflected back. So maybe at least to give you a bit of a buffer for Baigan.
Yeah, it's especially as our tracker Pancras pointing out that he is at 9 key items. So maybe doing it on the way out, if he gets a key item here in, would be a good option. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what dustygriff decides to do here.
It also depends what key item. If it's the Darkness Crystal, no, he won't.
Yeah.
If it's a tower key, possibly they just might just go get up to that 1,200 hit point threshold on Rosa for the aforementioned Zilch Threemus strategies and 1,200 hit point strategies. If it's the Adamant, probably the same. Yeah, Darkness Crystals.
While we find out what dustygriff's doing, let's head back to Sea Island for a reprise of Star Tropics here.
Yeah, I will be suddenly muted, by the way. So,
Well, that's an interesting development. You called it this time.
yeah, Darkness Crystal, and then bumping into everyone's least favorite computer meltdown.
Yeah, we did see the spoon get thrown, which is absolutely the right time to throw it here. This is not a fun place to fight CPU. Lots of HP at this spot.
Yeah, lots of HP. I don't believe Edge is back row glitched. Sid and Kane. Sid is, Kane isn't, because Zyrak back row glitched the Kane, but Dusty has not. So this is a slog of a fight.
Yeah, even with that stray 10,000 damage from the spoon throw, there's still a lot to whittle through here. Finally gets it with that jump from Kane. Now it's just a matter of taking out the attacker bit here. And then I got to imagine Dusty's headed to the moon.
Moon or grinding? 10 key items now. Now, got that teller. Don't need a whole lot to just finish up getting to Threemus levels.
Yeah, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to go to the moon first or do his grind first. My thinking here would be that he doesn't exactly have a ton of characters. Like, he doesn't have something like a Palom that he would want to just grind all the way to nuke to be able to get through. Most of his characters, most of his damage is coming from physical attacks. So, I don't know, I might try to hunt a few doable fights on the moon and use that XP and, save off on the grind until after I'd completed the moon, but it might just be better just get all of it done right now since you've got that 10 key items and
there's another thing we're forgetting. He has a siren. He has one siren.
That's true.
He's got 10 key items. Going to do either a set of 3 warlocks or 2 gold dragons. That will give him an infusion of about 7 levels on each character, around about 6 or 7 levels, and that puts him in very good stead just to clear the moon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Plus, he's got that Dragoon Lance on Kane that makes that double gold dragon fight that he can get with the Siren really appealing. He can do weak with Tala to get through, or he can fight with Kane. He's got a lot of options for handling that. Usually, you want like an hourglass to sort of mitigate the danger of that fight, but he's got a lot of ways to sort of just kind of power through that fight.
He is raising the well, so we'll find out what he chooses in a moment. Meanwhile, Zyrak, following the motions, Tower was the obvious choice. He's pretty much been hot on Dusty's heels the entire time, just doing what he's done, just a little bit behind, but still, this race isn't done yet. We don't know where this final piece of go mode is.
Yeah, so far the race has been pretty straightforward as far as how the seed has wanted our runners to advance, and you can just sort of see that the difference that some stronger execution on dustygriff's part has really made as far as getting ahead here. But yeah, like you said, still anyone's race. There is a lot left that can happen at this point, and dustygriff setting up. I think he might be.
He's gone to Baron, so this looks like a grinding situation.
Yeah,
going to the giant, grinding up.
So yeah, for those that are new to this tournament, we have turned off running from encounters. So if you want to set up a D-Machine grind fight in the Giant, you need to set it up beforehand. You basically count how many encounters it takes you to get into a fight, use that to determine when your D-Machine fight is going to be coming up on your encounter table, and then going into the Giant from there. So dustygriff's going to be carefully counting his steps here, consulting the table that has all the values on it, and using that to determine when he will be able to get the fight that he wants.
But bear in mind, you don't need to follow this particular chart, but it'll just make finding the correct fight a whole lot more dangerous. Because of that can't run flag, you'd have to reset out of a lot of encounters if you continuously get the wrong encounter.
Yes, precisely.
But speaking of tools that are available, well, we have on our Discord a whole array of tools. We've got a newbies corner, we've got a general chat where you can just talk about things. We have a lot of veterans who are more than willing to speak up, help new people who are getting involved, who are wanting to get involved in the randomizer. The tools are available publicly for you to consult, for you to sort of ingest and become better in your own rights. Who knows what would happen? Maybe in the next tournament, you come in and you blow away the competition just because you've gone through those tools and those guidelines.
Yeah, and we've seen that already this tournament. There have been a lot of real fresh faces that have advanced to this table stage, and it's really amazing to see how the veterans of this game can't rest on their laurels. They're constantly being pushed by new blood, so it's been really, really exciting to see. And the game just keeps getting better and better as a result. So yeah, definitely check it all out.
Yeah, one of those I believe is our tracker today, X Pancreas. He's done amazing in this tournament. He's at the table flags himself. He's come in, blown away the competition, and is really happy to be here, and just wanting to just show everyone what he's got, and he's done a fine job of it so far.
So with the manipulation dustygriff is set up, is going to go to the save point, and the first encounter he runs into should be that D machine. Oh, going for it here.
Yep. It doesn't really matter where on the floor that you pick up the fight. It's just that the fight is going to be that particular, that first one that you encounter.
Yeah, makes sense. Might as well get it done here. If you don't have any intention of going through and finishing the giant, then you can just walk right out afterwards.
Yeah, and you usually do your save before you. Well, you have to save to set up the manipulation. So why do another save up here when you're going to be full health? You're going to have that safety to fall back on.
Because I'm an old man, Poydrak, and I learned it one way, and I'm very set in my ways. You can't ask me to change.
We can. Whether you do or not is a completely different matter. But I'm completely on board with that. In terms of the manipulation and thing, I have not actually even looked at those charts. So if I actually did get through to the table flags, I might have been running by everything I didn't know. I might look at them. I probably won't, and I'd just wing it.
Meanwhile, I practiced my butt off and learned all of the new strategies, and Poydrak and I got to the same spot. So, what does that say?
That you're a lot more prepared, and that I've been completely lucky. So I'm looking at his computer and saying, "Please melt down, please melt down." Not you. I mean the computer I'm fighting. And dustygriff is having another fight against a machine, just one that keeps coming back.
I do see that he put Berserk out on Cyrax Dream. Did he blunk up the attacker node?
I didn't see that, but
looks like he must have. Yeah,
since there's a miss there, he must have done. Heck, even bringing out a Cure 3 on the attacker just to make sure.
Yeah, it's one of those strategies you can use. There are a couple of ways that you can sort of get your melee fighters or your casters to the CPU while respecting that you have to keep the one note out to avoid the Globe 999s. The one thing you can do here is just cast Blink on the attacker node, so your Berserk characters that target randomly will never actually hit the attacker node, except right there when they did, because the blink went down. But another thing you can do is reflect the float status off one of your party members, and then hope it hits the right target. You're going to hope it hits the attacker node, and if that happens, a 50-50 chance. If that happens, then you can cast Quake with impunity. Since it's only going to hit that CPU, even though it looks like it's floating, it's not actually. It is actually vulnerable to the Quake spell, and then you're not worried about hitting the node as well and triggering that Globe 99. But Zyrak is through.
Yeah, I don't know if it's universal, but if you see a shadow below the enemy, I believe that means it's floating. But I'm not entirely certain if that's actually correct or not.
And dustygriff has completed his grind. We're seeing about 20 levels going up for those characters. Ooh, is that an hourglass as well? That's not a bad pickup.
That could be useful on the moon. Free boss. We've already seen the Dark Imps, but we've still got the Baron guards and the Kaipo guards available that can be useful for that. Hourglass. There's a couple of others that might come into play. But Dusty didn't really need to do a whole lot of grind there, so just a few D machines. On his way out, Moon or Feymarsh? What's your choice?
I would certainly go Moon here. There's still a ton of key items left in the pool. We only need one of any two specific ones there. 7 key item checks, on the Moon. One boss worth 2 key item checks. I just feel like with the density of checks there, that's the play to make.
Yeah. And here's a little bit of a difference. Zyrak is going to Feymarsh. One thing about him is he doesn't have 10 key items. He only has 9. He hasn't done that Sheila 1 check for the package. So he's coming here looking for a 10th key item before he starts his grind.
Very interesting. This could be a critical moment here if he is able to get through these Feymarch fights and one of them pays off. That would give him the key items that he needs to do his grind, and it would put him in go mode. So this is getting very interesting here. And dustygriff going right into value cave. You love to see it.
I expect the elephants. No?
Wow!
Fight.
Going right for Baigen.
We'll call it brave. That's a Val.
That's Val. I kind of wish you had that spoon still at this point. Doesn't mean that's a good bus to throw it at.
Dusty would if he didn't have mass levels on everyone.
That's very true. Shouldn't be that terrible to be able to get through it. If it turns out the evasion is too high, does have Kane on standby and can jump and knock her out of tornado form. But Edge doing 2,000 damage. Kane doing 1,300. I think that's fine.
Be a big thing. Don't knock her out of the tornado form in this. This spot hits hard, as you can just see. And if Val is out of tornado form, she will punch twice. She will punch consistently until going back in. When she's in tornado form, she will always do weak and Ray as a combo, and then punch once, and then repeat. So you actually half your damage by keeping her in tornado form in this spot. Blink can do the rest.
Speaking of Blink, we've got some solid Blink strats coming out from Zyrak here on the right, facing off against Baigen. Keeping him up so far, but still a lot of fight here to go. There's a lot of HP to get through here. And he has not done his grind, so his party not doing the kind of damage that dustygriff says.
Still got to get through this. The main body of Baigen here should have around about 20,000 hit points, because the arms will take up about 5,000 of it. I think they've got about 2,500 each, give or take. Numbers aren't exactly exact in Final Fantasy IV, surprisingly. It's just you've got to get through those arms to get to Baigen in more cases than not with Berserkers.
And down goes Lavalis. Let's see if Cave Bahamut is the cave of value here. Potentially.
Maybe. We'll hold the phone on that one. But Dusty is going to go straight down and going to go check that. He's got nothing to lose by doing it. He'll leave a save on the moon, likely. If it's nothing, he'll come back up to the save. If it is, if it's what he wants, he'll just go and do what he needs to do and go to Threemus.
Yeah, saves coming to get around these lengthy cutscenes going between the blue planet and the moon. Can be a very effective strategy. Just use your save slots. You got 4 of them. Use them well, and you can shave a lot of time off.
Yeah. The fun thing is, I don't think he actually saved.
No, he. I was about to say, I don't think he did either. He's just committed to this.
But then again, no. If this is the pen, that's it follows that. If it's an actual item that he needs, he doesn't need to go back to the moon. And if it's the pink tail or the sand ruby, he'll just reset and not even do Val again because he doesn't need to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's not like he needs the experience from Val anyway, so...
Yeah, so we'll just go back to a save beforehand. And that's a reset.
Meanwhile, Zyrak is chugging away at this Baigen fight. We've been talking about it the whole time. It is a huge roadblock. Baigen's body is down, though. All he's got to do is survive the self-destruct of the arm, and he's through it. It can only hit one person, so he's guaranteed to get through, and down goes the arm.
Is this it?
This is a moment of truth.
Is this Zyrak's way back in? This has to be, all the elements has to be, because Dusty's got a commanding lead so far.
Oh!
Gungnir is not what you want to see.
No, not at all. That is heartbreaking. And if you're Zyrak, you got to go against the elements now. You've got to go and you got to hope.
Yeah, it's the only choice I can see him making. And Moon is not on the table, not until he gets that 10 key items. Yeah, the elements, and he's tenting up.
Yeah, if you're Zyrak, you would have at least hoped it would have been some kind of key item just to let you get to that 10 threshold and, open up the grind options. But, not what you want to see.
Yeah. In terms of top-down or bottom-up, when there's one key item going, and this is just for Chatu sort of bringing it up, I feel top-down is actually better, especially if you've got a pass. That you've got less distance to travel. So you're actually seeing, if you find your key item early, brilliant. Yes, the bottom of the moon has more density, but you've got to go further down.
See, meanwhile, over here with my caveman brain, I'm like, one boss, 2 chests. Unga bunga, beat boss, get chests. There's 2. That's why I'm not in the tournament anymore.
It's just an efficiency play. Zyrak and dustygriff are both really efficient players. You're going to be seeing these strange things that you might not see normally.
We did see that hourglass get thrown out, and using some weak to get through this Baron Guard fight very easily. This fight does not have that boss bit, so you can abuse status effects to your heart's content, like this was Final Fantasy V or something.
We don't talk about that game here.
Ooh, Apple, not what you want to see, but at least that's one fight out of the way.
So far, 2 busts, really. Latel to a Sorcerer Robe, Arg, Apple, 50 hit points. I suppose that you could give it to Teller.
Yeah, maybe it would be maybe useful if you were going in at really low levels, but that's not what dustygriff's doing. I was already at level 50 roughly at everybody, so yeah, it's not a horribly useful item.
Now heading down, likely we'll be going to the double chest nest in the lunar spot first. Once you've done those top two, the Cave Bahamut and Peldim spot, the route that I'm seeing Dusty choose at the moment, especially in these particular situations, is those top two first, then go down to the density checks, the lunar spot, plague spot, Ogopogo spot, and then back to the wizard spot.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And yep, looks like you are correct. Heading down to that huge density area here.
There goes that spoon.
Yeah, the one nice thing about using the spoon here is that you can save scum it back if there's nothing important behind the elements fight here, but if there's nothing important behind the elements fight, then this is not looking good for Iraq.
Yeah, if there's nothing here, Dusty pretty much has the advantage in every way here. Well, this is free. He hits hard, but he's got enough hit points to last the entirety. Even Rosa is almost surviving all three.
Yeah, considering he's got 10 key items, and this is one of the highest XP value spots in the entire game, he's going to get a nice little safety cushion of levels here for his characters as well, getting to keep them all alive here at the end.
Do you really need a safety cushion when your Rosa is already having almost 2,800 hit points?
Look, you don't know how badly my Z fights go.
Yes, I do. I've seen them.
No key items there, but we do finally get a throwing weapon to back row glitch that edge, if we're so inclined.
Elements is down. And Pale Dim. Kane? Sick him.
Oh, no. That is... Oh.
Worst case scenario for Zyrek. Feymarsh being absolutely pointless, really.
Yeah, that's just...
Two really difficult bosses, two really long bosses, just to get that.
Yeah, that Dusty Griff is now very firmly in the driver's seat, whether he knows it or not. Zyrak is going to be playing a huge game of catch-up right now, and something big is going to have to happen at this point, but the light is fading fast.
Yeah, the only real way back is, since we know that the top of the moon isn't really that helpful, is for him to go down to the bottom and do the same check that Dusty does to get himself going. And that seems unlikely.
And he's going to be fighting from an XP deficit as well, because Zyrak has not done any kind of grinds, and we're still yet a key item here from the moon.
This moon is being a bit sneaky.
If this
items.
Could this moon be entirely barren, and Threemus is lurking somewhere on the blue planet with the keys to this seed?
No, Baron is on the blue planet.
Oh, you're right. My mistake. If Baron could, Baron would absolutely try to conquer the moon.
Zyrek's heading over to Val. This is going to be long for him. It's not going to be... he's going to be okay during it, but it's going to be a long fight again. He is going to get a 10th key item out of it, but it's just... We know it's going to lead to nothing. And then he's still got to do his grind and then head down. That's, of course, if he even fights the fight.
Looks like he is going for it, though. He does scout it out, and is going to go right into it.
Was a blue robe technically at the Ogopogo spot, but we've already seen the alternative gauntlet, so unfortunately we don't get the fan favourite. we get the discount fight.
Now hold your breath, because we're going to get another very important reveal on dustygriff's side, and the item at the spot is the tower key! That is Go dustygriff.
Yeah. Can't instantly exit out because this spot doesn't actually allow exit, but through this door, instant exit, instantly to tower key, 600 to 700 hit point spot. Very simple for his team. He'll go and get. He'll be done. He'll be off to Z straight after.
Yeah, very elementary progression here for dustygriff, and his team has got the power to take on Threemus. And as Threemus, always kind of a wild card fight. A lot that can go wrong during that fight, but he's looking very, very strong for taking this fight on right now.
I just thought of the worst sort of foe for him, considering we're an hour and a half into the seed. Golbez at the tower spot, at the cannon room.
We have not seen
look at it, and you really just roll your eyes and go, "Why?"
Rosa does have that ribbon on, so should be able to take. If it is Golbez,
yeah, the fight's academic, even if it is Golbez.
Yeah,
but it just takes so long.
It does.
It's even with an agility A1 anchor in the middle, which I don't think he has, because Teller's likely got a few levels now. So it's just going to take a long time if it is Golbez, and that's my biggest troll prediction. Otherwise, this fight is still done in the next few moments.
And let's see who the final speed bump on the way to completion is. It's just the King of Dragons.
He's not even offensive in this spot. So he doesn't even get to say a word.
How cruel.
Or a number.
And the super cannon is down, and we'll get one last key item check on the way out. And if that's the adamant, that would be the last kick in the teeth this seed has to offer.
Yeah, but it's not required. Here comes the crystal. dustygriff is now officially at 1 hour, 34 minutes and 17 seconds in go mode.
Indeed, and having done a quick D-Machine grind already, is in a commanding position to finish this seed off. Has the pass, is just going to go right up to Troya, turn it in, and finish this seed off. His second race of this table, the lunar table.
Yeah, and with the win he has had already, this will be a 2-0 for him.
Right now, like we said, it's still not a foregone conclusion. A lot can go wrong during this fight, but it's increasingly looking like this is dustygriff's game.
Yeah, it's going to take multiple Threemus wipes for Zyrat to get back into this, and his best hope is to go straight down to the Ogos Pogo spot, or potentially having Wyvern be the Wyvern spot being the adamant. We know that it's not the tower key, being a Runex.
Sid says thanks, I guess.
He's got an Ogre Rax, he's got a Earth Hammer somewhere around. He does not need a Runex. Especially since Kane and Edge are going to be the ones doing the majority of the damage here. Sid's just along for the ride. He carried the team through the early game and with his damage. He's sitting back, he's retired, he's just going to sip on his beverage and just go, all yours, kids.
Can we get a mod in chat? Everybody in chat is just spamming this nonsensical emote with the last letter of the alphabet and a question mark. What's all this about?
I know what this is. I know what this is. This is SpongeBob signaling to Patrick that two squiggles are just about to fight.
I'm 35 years old. I've never watched SpongeBob.
It's still, my statement and sticks.
All right, point
Anyway.
you ask the question everyone wants you to.
No, I'm not. I don't ask this question. Go ahead. Go.
Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
It will be some variety of whatever awesomeness Sculler has decided to put in for us.
Yeah, of course we don't randomize the final fight. It's perfect just as it is. But we do like to randomize the look of it, since this is a randomizer. So there's some 450 plus alternate sprites for Zeromus when you use the crystal on him, majority of which made by our admin Scala Kitty here. And tonight, the form of the destroyer is Shodanmus. Oh, I love this one.
We've had. I've been saying a whole lot about the computer and breaking. You don't want anything in. I don't. If I'm getting this correct, you don't want this one in your computer. I might be completely forgetting the game though.
It's a system shock. So dustygriff just setting up here for the fight. No Bacchuses, so he's going to have to manually apply those berserks to his frontline fighters.
Yeah, with Teller and a Rosa though, those berserks are going to come out fast. Sid, as I said, is just going to sit down. He's just going to be tickled by the big bangs with 5,000 hit points, and just go, "All yours, kids." And he's even going to say that to Teller because Teller's actually doing a little bit of work today. Heck, even survives the big bang.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world, even though Teller's not going to contribute much of anything offensively here. Still throw out some items here, help Rosa out, and get some of those cures out. Not a strict necessity, but it's never a bad thing to have an extra set of hands on call here.
Yeah, we do apologise for what's happened with Zarak. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Hopefully our restreamer is on it and figuring out which buttons to actually press.
Believe me, that's a harder it's a harder task than you might think. There's a lot of buttons to press.
This fight though, with Rosa being ready for cure in over 3,000 hit points, Edge over 3,000 hit points, Kane with 4,000. This is just easy mode. I know we say a lot of times that Zeromus is a hard fight, but when you set up correctly, that you've got this power overwhelming sort of strategy that Dusty's bringing to the table with his berserkers, you don't really see how bad Zeromus can actually be, which is a little unfortunate.
Yeah, hitting a specific HP breakpoints is so important for the Zeromus fight because of the way Big Bang works. Because it is essentially a lot of a massive number of damage rolls all kind of piled into one another. Your character's viability in the end game is really a big factor of that is how quickly can they reach those specific HP thresholds. And well, with the amount of experience dustygriff has poured into this party, you can see that they are well past that, easily able to soak those big bangs without issue.
Yeah, and that one was a unnerved big bang. Yeah, Teller's a little low on hit points compared to everyone else, but here comes Rocks. Not even worried about it being a straight big bang intermediate. Rosa survives it. Kane still had plenty of hit points left. Fight done.
And we're in that final phase, just a matter of the last bit of damage, and with that, dustygriff has picked up his second win of the tables. with a final official time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, 21 seconds. GG's to dustygriff and a commanding performance here this evening.
Yeah. Even emphasized with a full stop at the end, which has broken the bots.
And just to give you a quick update here, we have found out from Zyrak that he was having some technical issues on his side. He hasn't officially forfeited, though. So that is going to be the end of the race here. But we'll see if we can get our runners in and get their thoughts on the seed here.
Other than that, Zyrak is entering straight in with a loss, but it's to dustygriff. You really don't expect anything going into this. If you get a win, brilliant. If not, we've still got 5 other races for him. He's still got a very good potential to go through to the final 16 and with a few victories under his belt. This is just a bump in the road, not the end of his story.
Yeah, indeed. And yeah, there was just a lot of just technical precision here on execution for dustygriff's side. Our runners, for the most part, throughout this seed, took largely the same route. Just dustygriff was able to pull ahead here and there in little minor ways, and it really added up over time. Really goes to show you just how much execution can benefit you in this game.
Yeah, his item usage actually at the start of the game was, I think, key to get him going, to get him started. But throughout, it's just little bits here or there. That's all that really happened. We have been joined by Zyrak, and I believe we're going to have dustygriff in shortly. Zyrak, that wasn't exactly the start you wanted, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a lot of dead ends that I spent the time on. I don't know which ones Dusty got sucked into, but yeah.
Strangely enough, not many of them. You went through that Fey Marsh and found nothing.
Yeah, to put it mildly, yeah.
Yeah, gosh, we had our fingers crossed that you were going to get something out of that. Oh, it was so disappointing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Dusty seemed to just have everything come up dusty. Did it seem that way to you, dustygriff?
I don't know if I put it that way. I hit a lot of nothing for a really long time in that one. And it's kind of funny because this race felt a lot like the race that I played last night, where there were some choices, but there was a lot of times just choices that were better than others, purely from a speed and efficiency standpoint, like for my style of play anyways, and for the party that I built, which kind of like is what led to how I played the seed anyways, because for a long time in that seed it was just felt so slow because I had no real good damage and that sort of thing. So
yeah, you were both sort of on that same efficiency train. You both went to the same sort of checks, almost next to each other. Dusty, your item usage at the start sort of gave you a little bit of a go ahead at that got you started, and then sort of compounded from there. But you were both following the same trails up until the very end, where the only split was Zyrak didn't have the 10 key items when found the Darkness Crystal and didn't go to grind because of that, I believe, while you did, and then just went to the moon to finish up.
Yeah, I was really happy that I think it was pretty. I think it's kind of that spoon before I got Darkness that I got from Karate at Odin, which helped out a lot because I mean, not only did it push me to that 10 key items, it helped a lot with making that CPU play that sealed fast, and yeah, everything worked out. In the end, I think decision-making wise, it was kind of tough because, I don't know, there's choices out there, but there's just a lot of not really great choices. Even taking Edge, funny enough, didn't feel great that seed because I was waiting a while to hopefully slingshot someone in that last slot, but I was like, once I saw the Edge and I had a ninja sword from that treasury, I was like, I need to just take this and hopefully move a little faster through the seed because it felt like a bit of a slog, but worked out after.
I had a question for Zyrak real quick. Sort of the decision making that you made there. Both of you were running into dead ends left and right, and it just seemed like nothing was working out, even though it was just the most logical plays you were making there. At any point you start to feel behind, and if so, where was it, and like how did that sort of influence your decisions from that point forward?
So, Earth Crystal panning out, like the edge was nice, but it not panning out into progression felt pretty bad. It sounds like Dusty did it as well, since those are the only edges I saw.
Yeah.
But I felt like this is something that Dusty could easily not do, which is part of the reason why I did it. So that not turning into anything didn't feel great. Did I never actually turn in Sheila 1?
You did not know.
Yeah, that thought struck me about 20 minutes ago that I never did that. So
that ended up being the package, which was the one key item difference that that set Dusty up for the D machine grinds, and you hadn't done the grind at that point.
Right, yeah. It probably wouldn't have made like too humongous a difference in the end, I don't think, because that just meant I did the valid Bahamut spot, which I assume you didn't do, Dusty.
I did a top down.
Oh, did you? Okay.
When we say you were doing the same checks, it was literally that.
Yeah.
They did one, then you went and did it as well immediately after. The only difference was you went and did the Fey March before going to the moon without a grind, while Dusty did the grind then went to the moon.
Yeah, I skipped Fey March, which was probably a big difference in this one too, because those were that was the one thing that felt bad for me, because I was deep in the moon, and I don't know, I only had crystal spot left, and I hadn't found it yet, so I was like, I had those 2 Fey March bosses left open, and that was the only thing other than moon left open for me, so I was really kind of sweating towards the end there. I was just like really hoping that something would pan out.
There was pretty bereft of free bosses left by the time that darkness crystal showed up. Like, I basically just the water hag, who of course is guarding the progression, and King Queen Evelyn, and I didn't really have a whole lot else free that was really left. So Bahamut, I guess technically I still had it too, but it just wasn't a really high ratio. And again, like, it's one of those things, you have to know who you're racing, right? Like, I know what like, when you say we're doing the same things, but Dusty is slightly ahead of me the whole time, I got no problems believing that. I believe that 100%. So I got to make a play somewhere, and I made my play on the Fey March bosses, and it didn't work out. What can you do?
Yeah, just that one little divergence could have broken for you if you had that one breakthrough. If you had that pass, you might have chosen a different Zeroma's strategy, rather than going to grind and just say, I'm just going to take what I've got and go. There's plenty of things actually on the table with the teams that you picked up, so it was very interesting just seeing the back and forth at that very end, just seeing what the decisions might have been.
So yeah, we've this is your second win here, dustygriff. Zyrak, this is your first match. So I'm really curious to hear from both of you. Let's start with Zyrak. How do you feel, going forward? What kind of adjustments are you going to make? What are your thoughts on the next few races you've got coming up in this table?
I'm starting to get a little more comfortable with the table flags as I go here. I don't think I'm going to change too much. Same idea. Just I'm gonna look to make plays when I can, and I'm trying to set up what I want to do with my party earlier, just to try to get through the early part of the game faster. I'm going to be curious to see what Dusty. You said that Dusty used some items to some effect to get him a bit of a lead at the start, and I'm really curious because the only fight on the overworld I had that was super slow was the gauntlet, and I had nothing for that.
Oh yeah, that took me what felt like 7 years.
Don't worry, it was a slog for both of you.
Yeah, I felt super bad when I went in and checked the weapon shop after and saw the Earth Hammer there. I can't utter what I said after that, but yeah. so I'm definitely going to be interested to see that for sure. But yeah, that's how I'm going to more of the same going forward and just hope for better results.
And dustygriff, same for you?
Yeah, I feel more or less the same. It's really, really strange because this seed today and this seed that I had last night for, I mean, almost exact same time. Like, seriously, I think that my race last night was an hour 42 or something like that, was my time on it. And they were kind of like, both these seeds were like typical by the book seeds for me sort of thing. So I kind of can't wait, but also I'm scared to see when the seed comes out that's like makes you have to make more uncomfortable choices or put in worse situation, because these ones were kind of straightforward in a sense, but at the same time it was just a slog. So but I can't wait to kind of see what else comes out of this tournament, because these flags are super fun and they're really varied in terms of like party choice and routing and that sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for putting on such an amazing race. This was an absolute pleasure to watch, and best of luck to you both in the upcoming rounds. I can't wait to watch them.
Thank you to all the Restream team for taking care of this one, and GG's to Zyrak.
Yeah, GG's, Dusty. Good luck going forward, and again, echoing the thanks to both of you and the rest of the Restream team. Cheers.
That was dustygriff and Zyrak, 2 runners for today. dustygriff goes to a 2-0 record, and Zyrak takes his first loss. They'll be moving on to their next races. Poydrak's got them posted in chat if you want to check up who's going to be playing who.
Yeah, but we're not done with the free enterprise just yet. Not for this tournament. We've got more races coming forward, but not for where we're going to send you next. We're going to keep everyone buzzing by sending you over to Poorly Drawn Bees.
You were just waiting to see if that one, weren't you?
What are you saying? You think I'm Barker Shinobi or something? No, we're going to. She's doing some practice for on table flags, so give you a bit more insight into how dangerous these things can be. Feel free to go there, give us some encouragement. As for us, well, I'm going to go to bed, and Smapedy is likely going to fall in his chair and just have a drink or two.
That sounds like a good idea. But for the rest of the Restream team here, for Ground Flyer on the Restream, X-Pancraz on tracking, and my co-commentator Poydrak, my name is Smapedy. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.
Have a good evening.